Hello everyone, welcome to this episode of PKBinspire. It's been quite some time now since I recorded a video on my YouTube channel. I think some of you had reached out to me asking, when the next video is going to drop. So today I decided to come out here to do things a bit differently, to share with you a mental framework or a mental model that I believe would help you to be more productive and also to get the best out of the team members that you work with. So I'm sharing with you this mental framework or mental model that comprises of three key components: doers, dabblers, and dreamers. Every member of your team, including yourself, is either predominantly a doer, a dreamer, or a dabbler. Stay tuned as we delve a bit deeper into this. So first up are the doers. Now, doers are action-oriented. These are people who are just interested in getting things done. They usually have a checklist of activities that they need to complete, and they get more excited when those checklists are ticked off their activity list. Doers are the people who are usually in the trenches, getting their hands dirty, so to speak, and they work tirelessly to ensure that the vision comes to fruition. Let's take Elon Musk as an example. Although he's a visionary, he's more of the execution type of person. No long thesis, just getting things done. From ensuring that SpaceX breaks the mold of space travel to pushing the boundaries of electric vehicles commoditization with Tesla. Doers, in a nutshell, are always driven by results. To them, it's all about getting the job done and ensuring that all the milestones that has been planned for are actually met. One interesting thing about doers is that they see obstacles as mere challenges to reaching the target or the goal. So they are not deterred by challenges or obstacles. They actually, to a large extent, enjoy having those obstacles whilst they try to meet the target. So here's the thing, although being a doer is exciting, getting things done and ensuring that you meet all targets, there is a downside to being predominantly a doer. You see, doers can get into the trenches and just to make sure that everything gets done. And by so doing, sometimes they are unable to get out of those trenches to see whether or not they're on the right path. In other words, doers can just get so much engrossed in the doing that they forget the bigger vision or reason why the doing is taking place in the first place. It's like building a house without actually stepping back to see whether you are actually building the right house according to plan. If you are a doer, you are essentially the backbone of your business. You are results-driven and you ensure that targets are met. But don't forget to step back to ensure that whatever you're doing aligns with a bigger vision. You should balance doing with the vision of the organization or team that you are working with. Now let's talk about dabblers. Now dabblers, as the name implies, are people who are always trying new ideas. They like to experiment new frontiers. They are the people who normally would come out with 1,000 ideas whenever you are faced with any issue or any problem in a team or in your organization. The thing with dabblers is that they usually will try out multiple ideas. Some days you see them and they are learning how to, sing, or they are learning how to play a musical instrument. And the next day, they are maybe learning how to write a novel. The thing with dabblers is that they are constantly on the move, trying to explore the next big thing or the next big ideas. I'm sure you do have some friends within your network who exhibit this trait of dabblers. Dabblers are very entrepreneurial in nature. So you would see that most entrepreneurs who are quite prolific are dabblers. Now, dabblers are usually at the frontier of innovation. They try to break the mold. They challenge the status quo. They ask why things are the way they are. And by so doing, they usually, would find or discover new things that hitherto did not exist. But the thing is, when a dabbler gets excited about an idea, the challenge is they may not see it through to the very end. A typical example that we may all be familiar with is Richard Branson, of the Virgin Group. So he started by just selling records, and then he moved into airlines, then space travel. He's a typical example of a dabbler. Dabblers tend to easily be swayed by the next big thing, and they explore those things. And sometimes it pays off, other times it doesn't. The number one caveat that dabblers are supposed to be aware of is distraction. Dabblers can easily be distracted, by the next big idea or the next big passion that comes to them. And so you would see that dabblers usually would leave projects, in the middle of a project, they get a new idea or a new passion, they'll just leave and pursue this new passion. If you see yourself in this category as a dabbler, you need to embrace the dynamism that comes with being a dabbler. You need to imbibe the strengths of your curiosity into everything you do. This is the number one asset in today's global business environment, curiosity. We need curious people who would challenge the mold, who would break new frontiers. And dabblers are quintessentially people who can get this aspect of curiosity done. But as a dabbler, you need to be mindful to stay the course. That no matter how difficult things get, you need to stay the course. Do not be distracted easily by the next big idea that comes to you. And this is one thing that dabblers need to be aware of. Remember to always stay the course and see the project to the very end. Finally, we go to the dreamers. Dreamers are people who usually have this utopian view of the world. They have big, gigantic, often grandiose plan, and they see things in a futuristic lens. They are groundbreaking visionaries with bold concepts that ordinarily, would seem boring or mundane to the ordinary people. Dreamers are able to create the perfect picture of the world that they want to see. Dreamers are like the Steve Jobs kind of people. They are able to envision a world that does not yet exist. A typical example would be Walt Disney. Walt Disney dreamed up this Disney world, this fantasy world. He had all the plans, he had all the drawings, built up all those characters. But it took the relentless execution of his team members to ensure that Disney World became a reality. Dreamers set the blueprint. They are able to orchestrate big vision items, but they are only able to see those items into reality when the doers come into the picture. So, if you are a dreamer, my word to you is that lean into the visionary power that you have. But remember that no matter how grandeur, how big your vision or your dreams are, they are just that, dreams. You need to either learn how to execute or get people on your team who are doers to make sure that that dream and vision comes into fruition. So here is the truth. Most leaders and entrepreneurs who we celebrate today are actually a blend of these three traits that I've shared with you. They combine being a doer to being dreamers to being dabblers. The issue isn't whether you are a dabbler, a dreamer, or a doer. The main issue is being able to blend the strengths that comes with these three key character traits that I've shared with you. It is perfectly natural to lean more into one of these traits. So you would realize that ordinarily you may be predominantly a doer, or you may find out that you are predominantly a dabbler. In other instances, you may see that you are predominantly a dreamer. We all have that predominant trait. We need to embrace the strengths of that trait without necessarily eschewing the strength of the other two. So if you are predominantly a dreamer, what you need to work on as a person is to learn to execute and then learn to dabble. If you're predominantly a dabbler, you have to learn to stay focused and see through projects that you begin. If you're predominantly a doer, Sometimes you need to halt the brakes, step back, and then appreciate the vision. See whether the execution you're doing aligns with the bigger dream or the bigger vision that you have agreed on as a team. Dreamers create the vision. Dabblers bring the innovation through experimentation. And of course, doers bring the execution component. So you see, it is not really about being one or the other. It's about recognizing the strengths that each person in your team brings and harnessing those strengths into a blended cocktail that will create the future that you want to create. What do you think about what I've shared with you? Leave a comment in the comment section below. Are you a doer? Are you a dabbler? Or are you a dreamer? Remember that no matter which one you are predominantly identified with, you can work on gaining the strengths of the other two, or you can build a team of people who have these diverse strengths, harness those strengths into pursuing the entrepreneurial dream that you have. Okay guys, so this is what I wanted to share with you, and I hope that you actually gleaned a lesson or two from this. Whether you're a doer, a dabbler, or a dreamer, you are important to this world, and you can create the needed impact within your organization and in the world at large. Thank you, and just make sure to subscribe, leave a comment whether you're a doer, a dabbler, or a dreamer, and of course, hit the notification button. And I'll do my best to bring you more videos. Thank you, and I'll catch you in the next episode of PKBinspire. Bye-bye.
Ice in my veins, I've been driving this train years in